On July 12th of 1887, Mr. Isaiah Thornton Montgomery established a region to form a black nation for our people in the great state of Mississippi in the region called Mound Bayou. This is an enormous achievement accomplished by this man during that age because others were attempting it. There was a great migration that took place in the state of Kansas, and that unfortunately did not continue beyond its original goals. However, this one here, started by Isaiah Thornton Montgomery, lasted from that day to this day for a total of 136 years and counting. What happened? How did it happen? And how does it continue today? Well, quite frankly, it was because Isaiah Thornton Montgomery, as a slave, was well educated and supported by his master, who happened to be his father. And because of that activity, he was able to not just garner, but keep support of his business, which he was doing during slavery. But after slavery, he founded what we call Mound Bayou. Yes. And who was he able to attract to this community that was just open land? He had to bring in black people because his goal is to establish a nation for black people. And of course, he went after the top of all black people. The first residents of that area were attorneys, doctors, business people, farmers who had major facilities, and that's how they were able to sustain themselves. And it was so well achieved that they became more prosperous than all the white communities. And yes, they did have anger towards them, but here's the key: they never were attacked by the KKK. And as they continued to grow, they brought in more and more people. It became at one point in the year 1910 as the largest black city in the entire state of the United States. That's how prosperous they had grown. Matter of fact, they continued to grow by bringing in more investors from outside of Mississippi, black investors who wanted to see the approach attain, grow, and become prosperous. This is something that surpassed anything that we have ever encountered. It surpasses even Greenwood, which was only a community. That's it. It was not even a city. It was just a community within the city. And of course, it failed because it was completely attacked with no support from other black people outside of Greenwood. However, in this case, when it came to Mound Bayou, it granted great support. And the people that were supporting were the people that believed in forming their own nation. Throughout the history of Mound Bayou, there has always been people, which we call Mahalians, people that want their own country. That is the purpose it was even created. And on throughout the ages, you keep seeing that pattern repeated in Mound Bayou. As a matter of fact, when they continued to grow as a community, they were so self-sufficient that they had almost no crime in their community. And they, at one point, shut down the jail because there was no activity to have an actual jail in their city, because everyone who lived there was supporters of forming their own independent nation, and they all agreed as one. And it continued out through the Second and First World War, which brought very difficult economics for them, and they had to go through that process. They eventually started to grow back up back in the 40s and the 50s, and in the 1960s, when they had really expressed themselves to have more support outside of their region because they were going through much economic stress. It was the actual Mahalians, the people that call themselves black nationalists. They came from all over the country. Some of them were born there, some of them, the family was born there, and they came to help support them. And they continued throughout the 60s to re-prosper. Matter of fact, in 1982, through one radio station, the city of Mound Bayou actually raised $120,000 in 1 week so they can pay off the debt that the city owed of $200,000. Amazing activity has taken out there. And ever since then, they've had mayors. Many mayors, of course, were Mahalians. And the last mayor, not the current one, actually made a public statement and had it on the website of the actual city of Mount Bayou that this is a black nationalist community. That's right, a black nationalist community. Imagine 99% of all the people feeling exactly that same way. And it's been going on that this is not something new. This predates civil rights. This predates reparation. This predates everything that people are fighting for today, which has never succeeded. But here they are, 136 years strong and moving forward. And now they are compelling the people of Louisiana to take it to the next step. They've had their mayors for many years. Now they're going in Mississippi to support the state of Louisiana as they bring in their candidate in Louisiana to run for governor. And what's the difference? In Mississippi, they control cities. In Louisiana, they're going to control an entire state. That starts in 2023. Continue to keep on this channel, the KCZIN, because only through KCZIN will you be informed what's happening with our people for independence and what's happening for the party that supports the idea of having our nation, the party called Mahali Party. But most importantly, we look forward in your votes in Louisiana so we can get our candidate elected and take over the state as a political takeover from the Mahali Party.